Hi friends, Shay here. So this video is gonna be interesting. I have decided to undergo a challenge to myself. So I've noticed that I am deep diving on my phone and spending a lot more time than I probably should using my phone. So we are going to do a challenge where for every hour of screen time I have on my phone, I read a volume of manga. I determined this be rather than reading for that amount of time, just because of my work schedule and things like that. I didn't feel like that was very attainable and achievable. So we're doing a volume per hour that I have of screen time for an entire week. So we're going to base this on last week's screen times. I quickly screenshot them all, so let me pull those up and make sure I pull up Mondays. And if I'm over 30 minutes in an hour, I am rounding up. So just so you know, so if it's like 4:35, like 4 hours, 35 minutes, I'm going to be reading 5. That's how I'm going to kind of do this. So for example, on the previous Monday, I did, if it'll focus, 4 hours, 41 minutes of screen time. So today we're going to read 5 volumes of manga. If I exceed that, I cannot bank them for other days. That's just extra. So since I have today off, I will probably bank some extra because I bought a lot in the last quarter. And the whole goal this year is to buy less and read more. So we're going to kick off this week strong by reading at least 5 today. I have some series where I have like 5 volumes to read. So maybe I'll grab one of those and just focus on a series today because I kind of want to get caught up on a bunch of them. So maybe I'll do that. So I think that's going to be my plan. So goal for today, 5 volumes of manga. I will review each volume at the end of the day and just kind of B-roll you in between so it's not too disjointed. So there will be a bit of a formula here. So that's kind of the plan, and let's go ahead and get going on today. Hello, we have made it to the end of day 1, and yes, I have read 5 volumes. So we're starting off this vlog on a good note. So let's talk about them. So the first one I read, technically a webtoon, but I'm still counting it because it's my challenge and I'm counting it. So this is The Kiss Bet by Ingrid Ochoa? I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm sorry, Ingrid. This is a local to me webtoon creator. She came into the bookstore and did a signing, and all of her stuff sold out. I ended up buying my copy before the signing, but I forgot to take it in the day of the signing to have her sign it. But I know she's going to be back, and I definitely plan on having her sign it. This is adorable. So basically, this girl just turned 18. She's a senior in high school, and she's not had her first kiss. So her guy best friend, who I'm pretty sure likes her that way but doesn't want to accept that he doesn't like her, that he likes her that way, bets her $50 to walk up to this guy who's like sitting on a bench, basically asleep, and asks to kiss him. And she's like, for $50, sure, I'll go ask. And he doesn't react well to that, calls her a weirdo. And then they find out he is new at her school. He's now her math tutor, and he lives across the hall. So all the tropes are there. I'm having the best time. You can read this on Webtoon, so I highly recommend checking it out. It's super cute and super fun. And the creator is actually like the nicest human on the planet, because I got to chat with her a little bit. She's super sweet. So yes, would highly recommend checking this out. And the thing is, like, she didn't know what to expect from her signing. So she was like the humblest, most sweetest being. She's like, I had no idea so many people were going to be here, because she had like 100 people waiting for her, but we only had like 40 copies of the book. So we had them like running all over to like find other copies. And so she ended up signing a bunch of like, you know, like name tags, essentially like blank name tags, so that people had book plates to put in their copies when we got them back in. And yeah, so she's the sweetest. Like, I highly recommend checking out the series because it's adorable. So this one is the first 18 chapters on Webtoon is what volume 1 consists of. And volume 2 is coming out physically in August. I know that because she's planning on coming back for another signing. So we're very excited. All right, on to the next thing. I got around to reading Outbride Volume 7. I would agree with Izzy's statement on this. She read this while I was out there, and she said it's basically kind of a transition / filler kind of volume. And I would agree with that. There wasn't any hugely major developments for our main characters in the story. One of the side characters, we got a piece of information that I found interesting, and it will affect the series moving forward, I think. But yeah, I'm very excited for the next volume, actually. I think it's going to be very interesting with what happened in the end of this one. So I'm very much looking forward to volume 8. The next one I read was, something I was randomly using as a bookmark, was Lethal Dose of Love. So this is a single volume BL where this guy and this guy knew each other in middle school. They had crushes on each other. He confesses, but tells the other guy, you know, I don't need to hear what you have to say. We'll talk later, essentially. But he ends up moving away that night and transferring. He moved to Tokyo. And so things change, and they end up meeting again years later as adults. Or was it high school that they knew each other? It was high school. Sorry. It's high school where they met and he confessed. And then I think it's 6 years where he's now at the end of college, and he ends up going to college in Tokyo, essentially looking for him. And he sees him in the street and like stops him, and he denies that he's that person. And it ends up being a very interesting story overall. I found the trajectory of the story very interesting. This one's very sad. It has a dose of childhood abuse thrown in there. So do know that going in, there are some triggers. When I write my review, I'll try to make sure I leave the triggers. So if you're interested in those, you can check that out. But yeah, childhood neglect, childhood abuse for this guy on the cover. Both physical and sexual. So if that's a bothersome thing to you, do know that that is present. I think it was handled as tastefully as the subject can be. I wasn't disturbed or upset by it. So that should tell you something. And it was not this guy at all. Like, as soon as he found out, he was like a devastated little bean. Like, I really like them as a couple, and I really like how this one ends up. So I would recommend checking it out. It does get explicit at the end, but it is ghost peen. So if ghost peen doesn't bother you, you'll be fine. And again, the scene isn't like essential to the story, so you can gloss over that if that's not something you enjoy. But I ended up really enjoying this volume. I might read it one more time to see if I'll keep it in my collection. But I would give this like a solid 4 stars. Like, it was an enjoyable one, but I do think I have BLs I love more, so I might not keep this one, but only because of that. All right, number 4, Choking on Love, Volume 1. So this one is not what I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be this cute little high school romance thing. Nope, they're in college for 1. 2, they're both art students. 3, he's in a band. And it is so good. Like, the way they meet, he's basically fighting with his bandmates at her place of work, and she's on her break in the lobby trying to do some schoolwork on her computer because she is in an art school, but she's studying graphic design. And so she has this thing she has to submit like that night or like first thing in the morning. And he ends up spilling a drink on her laptop and it shorts out. And so she can't do her homework. And like he felt so bad. But like she got all up in his business and in his face about it. And I'm like, yes, do this. And from there, he waits for her to get off work essentially. And he's like, hey, I'm really sorry. I was a jerk. Come with me. They both attend the same art school. And so he's like, here, borrow my laptop. You can submit your work. And then he's looking at it and he's like, why did you choose these colors? This sucks. And she like gets defensive about it. But then he's like, well, why don't you use brighter colors? This looks so bland. Like, liven it up. Maybe use red. And she ends up taking his advice. And so she finally gets some positive feedback at school. And so they kind of form a friendship. And then he essentially forces her to attend one of his concerts. Like, he drags her to it, essentially. And things start to develop from there. Like, I really like this one. I did not expect to like it as much as I do. Just because, like, the music, he's in a band trope doesn't always work for me. But the way this one is playing out is working great. Like, there's some stuff going on with the hero that we don't fully understand at this point at the end of volume 1. But I'm very much looking forward to where it's going to go. So, yes, this is definitely something I will continue to pick up and continue to enjoy. Like, no regrets here. So, yes, very excited about that. And then last but not least for today's reading for this challenge, we've got Love's in Sight Volume 8. This one is chunkier than the rest, but it is the final volume. This ends super sweetly. It ended exactly how I hoped and wanted it to. Yes, could I have done with a little bit more? Of course. But I'm still really happy with where this ended. I feel like plot holes that were there were plugged up really nicely, where everybody's moving on in a way that is healthy for everybody to move on. These two are still together and adorable. And I have zero regrets. Like, this is one that I think a lot of people slept on. It's a nice, short and sweet kind of story. And I think it's worth your time and worth your money. Again, this is one I will be keeping in my collection and I really, really love. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. So that is it for today. I am going to go take off the tiny bit of makeup I have on. And I'm going to go crawl in bed. Tomorrow we will chat again. I didn't finish any books. I'm going to talk to you about my books in these vlogs because they're just turning into my weekly vlogs for the month of April. I didn't finish anything today. I'm in the middle of Age of Deception, which is book 2 in the Firebird Chronicles. If you want my thoughts on the first installment, I'll leave the live show. I don't know which side it's on. I will leave the live show linked where me and my friends talk about it. Spoiler free mostly, and then there are some spoilers. But we had the best time talking about it, and I immediately loved it and immediately started book 2. I might have done myself a disservice here, but we'll talk about it in depth again at the end of April. So there's still time if you want to join us on the read along, because we're essentially doing a book a month. There's 5 out right now. The author had twins, so we don't know when we'll see book 6, which is fine. Like, let the author, like, raise her tiny humans. Like, totally fine with that. The next live show for book 2 is going to be at the end of the last Saturday in April. I'll leave, if the live show is scheduled by now, I will link that below. If not, then I'll link, the previous one will be linked for sure. And then my current physical book is The River Has Roots by Amal El Multar. I didn't really pick that up today. And then ebook wise, I am currently working on Sweet Obsession because that technically comes out tomorrow. So I'm hoping to get it done tomorrow. And then, yeah, that's kind of my top priority there. So. I am looking a whole hot mess right now, but I have started Emma today. Emma's going to be my focus since they're bigger ones and I have more time today. But I am obsessed with her and William already. Like, I am obsessed with their love story already. It has been one freaking chapter. This is what Kaoru Mori does to me, y'all. Like, if you are not reading Kaoru Mori, you really should, because she gets you invested in characters so quickly and in their dynamics so quickly. Like, it's glorious. I love it. We'll talk more after I've read some more, but right now I'm obsessed because it's a maid and a gentleman, and I'm here for it. I'm just here for it. Okay, so I'm well into volume 2 here, and I just met William's mother, who's been like an absolute mystery until this moment, and I'm dead inside. Like, oh, so much has happened, but I don't want to spoil this series because it is only 5 omnibuses. But essentially we have Emma, who's a maid. She works for this woman who's a retired governess. In the first chapter, we meet William, who is a former charge for this governess. He shows up, he starts crushing on Emma. Everybody finds Emma charming and beautiful, and she turns everybody down except him. And so they kind of court very casually all through the first omnibus. And then they have a true moment, which made my heart super happy. And then from there, something happens, and Emma has to leave town. So she's not in London anymore. And so they're both not taking their separation very well. But through circumstances of where Emma's at now, she's now met William's mother. And I'm kind of dead. Like, I love his mom so much. Like, his mom is who I would have been, 140 years ago when this took place. Like, she is the kind of woman I would come across as. So, I love it. I am obsessed. Kaoru Mori's art, as always, stunning. Kaoru Mori's stories, as always, stunning. I'm just thoroughly enjoying myself. I've not been updating very well. So technically I've read the first 3 volumes. So I've read the first omnibus and a half at this point. But I have 0 regrets. I'm madly in love with it. And oh, it's just so good. Like, it's really hard to not love Kaoru Mori's stuff. This one in particular will have a broader appeal than A Bride Story. A Bride Story has some tropes that make sense for the time in which it was written and the area in which it was written, but don't necessarily translate well to now, where Emma's much more historical romance appealing. And I'm just thoroughly enjoying myself. I'm having the best time today. I've got curry going in the crock pot, and I'm just here for it. We're having a day. We're having a good time, and 0 regrets. So with that said, I'm going to get back to reading. I do have a little bit of filming I need to do later, but for that, I need to actually get fully ready for the day. I'm still just kind of loafing at this point. So that will happen shortly, but I want to at least finish this volume before I do my other things. So that's the plan for now. We'll chat more. William, you betrayer! What the hell? No, I'm so mad at you. I want to throw it, but I have to trust Kaoru. I trust my queen. I trust her. But why? No. Why would you do that? I'm so mad. If you've read, you know, but I'm not telling you. All I can tell you is I'm upsetty spaghetti right now. Rawr. The drama of the end of this volume. Oh my gosh. But holy cow, this roller coaster. I have 3 more of these to read. What the heck? I loved the first volume. I understood decisions that were made. And this one made me upsetty spaghetti. It's making me less upsetty spaghetti by the end, I'll be honest. But I'm an emotional wreck. Am I ready for this roller coaster today? I guess so, because it's getting put in this video. But my goodness. I still can't believe William betrayed me like that, though. I'm so mad.
They've come across each other again, and I like what happened at the very end of the volume, but I'm really interested to see how it's going to move forward from.
Okay, so I am now officially at the halfway point of Emma. So we are halfway through this third omnibus now, and there are some interesting things afoot, specifically related to what was upsetting me in the previous omnibus and the dynamics there. But things between William and Emma in some ways are getting better and in some ways are getting worse, because there are some things that they aren't taking into account. So I'm still thoroughly invested in this, like way more than I probably should be, to be honest, but I have zero regrets. Like, my only regret is that I didn't track these down sooner and read it already, but I'm thoroughly enjoying the reading experience of it. I can tell you this is never leaving my collection no matter how it ends, because one, it's Kaoru Mori, and two, I'm really loving it. So, with that said, I'm going to keep going. I do have a nail appointment in a little over an hour, so maybe I'll pause here, go get some lunch, and go to my nail appointment, and then come back and read some more. I've got sprints. They're going to start in about 3 hours, so by the time I go eat, get nails done, come back, and get settled, I might be able to get this finished before sprints start. So the goal is to get it finished by the end of the day, and I still got 2 chonkers on the way. But I did film, edit, and get a video up for members. So, yay, we're winning. We're winning today. So yeah, maybe I'll take this with me and read at lunch. Maybe that's what I'll do, because I can't really read well while I'm getting my nails done. But this is the last time you'll see this set. We're going to get a slightly different look. So I'm very, very excited. So I've now finished this omnibus, and I hate shady AF people. And the people I thought were shady AF are proving that they are shady AF. So I'm just mad at them and mad at what they're doing to my Emma, because I will not stand for it. William, however, has finally grown his backbone, and I am proud of him. So we will see how volumes 4 and 5 go. I decided to read this before I took off for nails and food, since I've got an hour before my appointment. So I'm going to do that. And then when I come back, we're going to pick up in volume 4. And yes, I am very excited to see what happens in the rest of this. By the way, this German couple, I love them. I love them so freaking much. Like, I believe we get more side stories with them in this volume, because I believe this is more like collections of stories rather than like more story. So either way, I'm very, very excited. Okay, I am back. Nails are done. Very simple this time. And I've finished the canon story. Like, I've officially gotten the end. But there's still lots of content. So I get like this whole thing plus that of more Emma. And I'm not mad at it, because I really love these characters. I do wish we'd gotten like 1 to 2 more chapters is all in the canon story, because I honestly think like we were so close to so many like resolutions, and I wanted their wedding. So I'm hoping in the extra stuff we get their wedding. That is my hope and prayer at this point. But I really like how the canon story resolved itself. So I understand why Kaoru Mori stopped there. Like, I'm not mad at where she stopped necessarily. I'm just selfish and I want more. So I'm glad I have more. But I really love how this story went down. I feel like it took a really good look at society at the time and challenged it in a way that felt like it could have really happened. And I love that. I love that Kaoru Mori did that. And of course, Kaoru Mori's art is stunning and splendid. She has a way of drawing the female form that is a thing of beauty. If you've not read any Kaoru Mori, you should, just for her appreciation of that. So yes, there is nudity in the series, but it's not sexual nudity. It is just appreciation of the female form. And we love Kawamori for it. I am 95% sure that Kawamori is not straight for this reason. Because there's way too much appreciation and beauty in it for me to think that they are straight. So, with that said, sprints are going to start in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to finish getting all set up here. And then I'm going to finish these on sprints. And that will be my 5 for today. I'm sure I'll read more than that at the rate I'm consuming today. I do need to quickly buddy read a graphic novel with Bazaar. He's already read it. I just need to read my part of it, which is Himawari House. So I just need to go grab my copy. So I'm going to do that. And then I've got a little bucket of things down here and I can grab something in there to read. So we'll go that route. But yeah, dinner's starting to smell really good in the house too. So it's a good day. I'm afraid I put too much water in it is my fear. So it might be a little bit of a runny curry, but this is the first time I've made curry. So that would be the only thing I think I'd change at this point. But yeah, otherwise I'm feeling really good. Like everything looks like it's cooking really nice and it's still got a while. So it's still got at least 2 more hours before it's done. So I'll go give it a stir and get set up and yeah, so anyways, I'm going to finish up Emma and then we'll talk briefly about anything else that I read after sprints. Hi friends, good morning. It's the next day. Let's talk about my reads from yesterday. Ooh, the sweater sometimes rides up and it feels like it's choking me. I love it though. So first, She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat. I actually read this before I went into work because I got there a little bit early after grabbing breakfast. And I love this so much. This particular volume was amazing because of this character here and our main couple. I really love the progression of everything that happened in this volume. We're 5 volumes in, so I'm trying not to spoil it. Needless to say, our main couple, things are developing in a really good way for them, and I really like the conversations that they were having about the housing market and how, especially in Japan, they're not queer-friendly. I thought it was a really good and interesting discussion, and I really like the way it was handled here. So, really excited to continue on with this series as long as we've got it because I adore them. I'm going to insert a little picture here of one of the panels that I just fell in love with in this particular volume. So that's the only spoilery thing I'm going to have about this one, but it's so, so good. And then I read the final 2 volumes of Center of the Deep Sea. So we've got volume 2 here and volume 3. It ended very differently than I expected it to, honestly. But I can't say I'm mad at the ending. I actually really like how this played out and how people's perspective, whether merfolk or human, changed throughout the course of the series. Again, it's not a romance. I'm never going to call this series a romance for that reason. It does not have a romantic kind of ending. And I just think it was really, really good. A good exploration of how, if mythical creatures were real, how they might handle their livelihood and staying a secret. So I really loved that. And then the other thing I read was Wand Dance. I read volume 8, volume 9, volume 10, and volume 11. I really like the development of Kabo through these volumes because Kabo came into dance later than a lot of dancers do. And so it's one of those things where Kabo's trying to figure out his style and how he likes to dance and what dance means to him. And so I really like that these volumes laid into that. Like people tried to pull him in certain directions. He tried it for a while. Nothing felt quite right. And by volume 11, he kind of figures out at least part
of who he is. And he's still in high school, so he has plenty of time. But I just really loved the way they approached all of that and how he and Wanda actually spent time apart. And I honestly think that helped both of their characters grow and develop in ways. And it was just really, really good. I really liked what these ones were doing. I'm really excited for more. I know I've got volume 12 on order. I think it comes out next month. But that puts me current on the series, so I'm very happy about that. So far, I have gotten current on 2 series and finished 2 series. So I did end up reading all 6 volumes of The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses that I had. There is one more volume that will come out. I am really pleased with the way this series has developed. Yes, the first couple of volumes kind of establish the story a bit, but I feel like these volumes really progressed their relationship significantly and got them to a point where confessions were had, introductions to parents were had, even though, they're about to enter high school and they will be attending different high schools. She's going to an all-girls high school that her mom went to, and he's just going to be going to another co-ed school. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the last volume shakes out and where the mangaka takes it, because I do know it's complete at 12 in Japan. The last volume doesn't come out until, I think, the first week of June here in the States. So it's going to be a little bit before I see that final volume, but I am still very excited to figure out how this series concludes. And that puts me at 23 volumes for this video so far. Most of what I'm focusing on in the month of April for 30 and 30 is catching up on series that I've had a lot of volumes of, like The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses and Wand Dance and some things like that. Tomorrow I have 9 volumes. So it's going to be a lot. Hey friends, so it is now Sunday morning. It's been a couple of days since I've actually talked in this vlog. So I figured I should do an update. I'm trying to get to where I'm not facing the sun. There we go. We'll do that for a minute. So Friday was a fail. Friday I was supposed to read 9 volumes of manga. I did not. I read 4. So I read 5 chapters of a web series that would equate to a volume of manga, essentially. I can't remember the title off the top of my head. It's still too early in the morning and I don't have caffeine in my system yet. So I'm going to put it here. It was really, really cute. It's basically about this girl who, she kind of likes this guy. She feels like he sees her, because everybody else just sees her as the best friend to the pretty girl. But she finds out while they're at karaoke that this guy really doesn't feel that way, and he's like her pretty best friend the whole time. He just pays more attention to her because he knows it puts him in the good graces with her best friend. So it's one of those things where the way she finds out sucks. But what she found out recently before this event is that she's going to be working in the library club with this guy. They call him the Grim Reaper because, he's got long dark hair. He hides his face. He wears a mask. He just doesn't talk. And while they're at this karaoke place, he comes out all unmasked, hair pulled back, like his bangs pulled back and his mask taken off. And he's like, he calls her by her name because she's seen him like this at this point, and says, you don't have to pretend to be happy. Let's go. And he basically just tells the guy off. And, it gives her the confidence to start putting up boundaries, not only with this guy that talked bad about her, but with her best friend as well.
because her best friend will say and go along with things, and she doesn't realize that it hurts her feelings. And so the way it's playing out is really, really good. I'm reading it on one of the apps, because reading from one of the apps was a 30 and 30 challenge. I'll put the app under the volume that I read, because my brain does not want to come up with it at this moment. I tell you, I need caffeine. But anyways, I really, really like it. I would love a physical release of this. It only had the 5 chapters, so I am current on it at the moment. So I'm very, very excited to continue on with this one. It's one that I randomly got recommended in my Instagram, where like it's the ad for the app and this is the story they were telling. I'm like, this seems relatively interesting. I'm gonna go check it out. And I ended up really enjoying it. It is one of those like pay to read kind of situations, so that's not gonna necessarily work for everybody. But I do think this series is worth it. I mean, what I paid to read these chapters is still, it's about what I would have paid for a physical volume with my discount. So for me, it's kind of a wash. Like, it worked just the same. And if this one ever does get picked up physically, Keeping My Eyes on You, that's what it's called. That's what it's called. I would totally buy physicals of it because it's so cute. I really like the art style as well. It's definitely got the pretty shoujo boy energy, and I'm not mad at it. The other 3 volumes that I read on Friday were volumes 4, 5, and 6 of Last Game. So this is a will they, won't they kind of story. They've been childhood friends forever, and he's had a crush on her forever, and he wants to make her confess to him and become the only thing in her world. And so it's really funny because he is so gone for her, even though he's a relatively attractive guy by shoujo standards, and a lot of girls are interested in him. He just isn't interested in them. He only wants her. Like, he's dated other people only to make her jealous, essentially. So it's one of those. And I'm really liking the direction because she's starting to figure out her own feelings, but there's this other person who she's close to that has now confessed. And so it's one of those things where I want the next volume because I want to know how this is going to shake out. I mean, ultimately, we know what'll happen, but I want to see if she takes this opportunity to date this other guy for a while and see what happens. I don't think the other guy will let that happen, but I would love for her to at least think about and contemplate the idea. And I do think that will happen. So that was Friday. Saturday, on Saturday, I only needed to read 4. So I read 2 volumes of One Piece because I had 2 that I could read where it wouldn't spoil the anime for me. So I went ahead and did that. So it was 106 and 107 that I read. And then I ended up also reading 2 volumes of Tamon's B-side. So I read volume 2 and 3. I also have 4, 5, and 6. Again, another one, it's an idol-based manga where he actually is nothing like his idol persona, but she stands him anyway and actually is starting to really like him as a person, not just him as an idol. And I really, really adore and appreciate where it's headed, because now this other idol is like, I want you to be my fan, not his fan, because it bothers me that he's changing because of you. So it's one of those things where the way it's playing out is really fun. I'm really enjoying it. So today's goal is 6 volumes. I do think I can potentially hit 6 today. I do, once again, have to work, so we shall see. Hey friends, so it's been a few days and a haircut later, and we need to wrap up this video because I realized I never properly filmed an outro. So that's what we're going to do real quick. So Sunday, I did end up reading my 6, but I'm going to quickly go through each day and actually show you the screenshot of each day. And so that way you can see what the goals were. I'm going to make sure I've got my phone, so I'm telling you the right days. Alrighty, so on Monday, we had 5 volumes. So the 5 volumes that I read were Love's Insight Volume 8, which is a chunky boy. Choking on Love Volume 1. Lethal Dose of Love, which is a one-shot. Outbride Beauty and the Beasts Volume 7. And the first volume of a webtoon, which is The Kiss Bet. I'm really pleased, and I've talked pretty in depth about these volumes in the video already, so I'm not going to do that again. On Tuesday, the goal was 5 volumes. In technicality, I read 10 because I read 5 omnibuses. So I read Emma in its entirety. I have 0 regrets, and again, I've talked in depth about this series in this video, so I will not rehash that. Day 3, the goal was 7. So on day 3, I read volume 5 of She Loves to Cook, She Loves to Eat. I finished off A Sinner of the Deep Sea by reading volumes 2 and 3. And then I got current on Wand Dance by reading volumes 8 through 11. And again, I talked pretty in depth about these, so I won't say much here. Thursday was another 6-volume day, so I read volume 6 through 11 of The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses, which gets me current on the series, with only 1 volume to go. So I've almost finished this one. As soon as the last one comes out in June, I'll be able to pick that up now. So on Friday, my goal was 9 volumes. I did not reach 9. So with that said, I did end up reading 4 of them. Read the first volume of Keeping You in Sight, which was digitally, and then I read 3 volumes of Last Game, so it was 4, 5, and 6, and I ended up really enjoying them. Again, I will probably be picking up more of this sooner rather than later. On Saturday, I ended up reading 2 volumes of One Piece, so I read volume 106 and 107, and then I read volume 2 and 3 of Tamon's B-side. Again, I talked about that in depth in the last clip, so let's talk about what I read on Sunday and finish this up. So Sunday the goal was 6, and I did read 6. So I did get current on Tamon's B-side, so I've got 4, 5, and 6 that I read. I really loved it. I have since 7 has come out, so I'm current on what I own. I might be picking up some today on a shopping trip, so we'll see on that. I also read the next 3 volumes of Sakura Saku, which is 4, 5, and 6. Again, this is another series where I'm really happy about the turn that it took. It ended up being one of those things where the thing with the best friend was not the thing we thought it was with the best friend. And I actually really like that Iosaki Saka chose to go that direction. It's a huge spoiler for the series, so I'm not going to share what that is. But yes, I really am even more on board with this than I was before. So I will be picking up these as they come out and reading them fairly quickly at this point because I'm really loving it. Okay, so what did I learn from doing this experiment? 1, there are some days where I spend way too much time on my freaking phone. And 2, the other thing that I learned is that it's okay to have days where you don't read as much. As much as I wanted to succeed in this challenge fully, and I know that I didn't, at the same time, I was working that day. 9 is unrealistic for a non-work day for me, and that's okay. And I still didn't completely fail because it's not like I read nothing. I read something every day. And if you look at my total for the week, like clearly I read. This is my total volumes for this challenge. And I'm not upset at that. Like, I got a ton read. This challenge was a success in that way, and that's what I needed it to be. So, yes. And sometimes you just leave your phone running. I'm pretty sure that Friday where it was super long was when I was, like, using Audible a lot. So I was even reading a lot that day. It was just through my phone instead of through like a physical book. And that makes a big difference too. So with that said, I found this experiment thoroughly enjoyable. If you think I should do another version of this but tweak it somehow, let me know down below. If anybody wants to do this challenge, because this is just a spin on the Screentime challenge that other people have done, feel free. I just appreciate it if you'd tag me if you do the manga specific one. And because I've not seen anybody else do this. And if someone has, please tell me down below. I would love to give them credit. So with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're here just because you love me, leave me your favorite. Leave me the cityscape emoji. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.